poker face.
Yeah,
Tell you where to go.
Tell me.
I will.
I
will. A little bit of love. Look at us.
Great
Look
advice.
Who that?
Who that? Round Town Radio Show.
That's where I go for the latest brand and fun.
Round Town Radio
Show.
For the music that comforts my soul.
Hey yo.
Wow, that's loud.
The Hollow Ground
No, my
Oh, and I am loud.
the theme song's loud. It is. Welcome to the program, everybody. Episode 91. Isn't it 91 or 92? I can't remember. What the hell does it say on here?
Probably, I don't remember.
I can't remember either. It's on there, but
Is it?
I'll tell you. 91. Episode 91 today.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
I
Hey,
will Steve, as soon as I get licensed.
What is going on?
Oh, so much.
Ceris. What's that? Somebody said that to me the other night I was out. Man, I really love that show you're on with Ceris. I said, yeah,
Ceris.
she'd love you if you called her that too.
Everybody calls me that. Even my teachers called me that.
Ceris.
Ceris.
It's kind of like a stripper name, I think. It's like on the main stage, Ceris. Ceris. Make it real. Real good. Hey, Glenn's checking in. Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Jimmy Kilroy. We love Jim.
Hey, Jim. It was good seeing you on Saturday.
Yeah. Kara's in the house. How you doing, Kara?
Kara.
Good to see you. Oh, look who there. The champ is back.
The champ.
Guess who's back? Steve Wick is here. Hi, Steve. Desolate says hello.
Hello.
Sell him a house, Karis.
I will when I get licensed.
When you get licensed, you'll pass it. You
Well, I
will.
hope so. I suck at
You
testing.
will.
Man.
Yeah, I know. People have testophobia. Not testes phobia, but just testophobia.
I don't know if I blank out. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay.
And Glenn is sitting there working on Genesis Retouch merch. Thank you for that. And Sean Cooper in the house. The Coop, how are you? Good to have you. Hey, Ceris, we've got a lot to talk about today. We do. I skipped from Liars for Hire, and you had a big weekend, didn't you? This past week,
Well,
even though the weather was shitty.
Yeah,
day.
which we can touch on because actually that will go well with our topic today.
I think so.
Because
I think
either
so.
way you get flack, but yeah, I'll explain my decision for Friday.
Well, you were of the exception, I will say, Friday, because it's like the world just stops turning when it snows. It's like everybody's done, and
Yeah, and
cancel.
And I get it. I mean, I drove from Williamsburg to the bar. So I went, I and the roads weren't that bad as long as you knew how to drive, but they weren't great. But yeah,
Hi, Carla.
The first snowstorm, I was like, no, I mean, I don't, there's nobody driving. But, I said to Dawn from Second Wind, I was like, listen, I called him earlier in the day and I said, I'm just letting you know right now, I have zero plans on canceling. So I just want to put that out there. So it's going to be left on you guys. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to cancel. I want live music. But that's where I stand. I'm not canceling.
How was your crowd for it?
Oh, it was dead. It was dead. And we made zero money. But the point, and everybody kept harping on that. I was like, it doesn't matter about if I made money that day. It's about consistency. It's about, like 2 years ago, we had a big snowstorm and Kevin McCoy's band was playing and he drove from Dayton. And it was one of the most fun nights. And it's just good in my mind. I'm a music venue. I want to have music. And I had Second Wind booked, and they're a more expensive band. Totally worth it. They're amazing. But I'm not going to cancel because to me, I didn't think that storm was nearly as bad as the one, obviously the one before.
And you had to cancel an event that day. You did. You canceled the.
I canceled that big event.
Yeah, and that was one I know that you didn't want to have to cancel.
No, I did not want to have to cancel that at all. But I left it up to the bartenders. I left it up to the band. I made it clear that I'm not canceling. But even Vanessa was like, it wasn't that bad. She's like, Jess was like, no, I want to work. Okay. It's about consistency. It's about
hold that thought a minute. Can I just say this real quick? Jess, the other night when I did name that tune at your place, Jess did a remarkable job. She did a wonderful job with the crowd that we had that night, and she was just great to work with. So just so you know.
Yeah. Oh well.
You know that.
I love her. She drives me crazy, but I love that girl.
Yeah. And she had a bra on too small. We talked about that over the microphone, actually.
Oh, that's
yes. She was telling everybody that, so I figured I'd announce it for everyone to know. And then we were trying to pick which one she needed that's hanging up in your bar. And of course, that big orange one that looks like
that's
somebody
a biggie.
Has who?
No, I said that's a biggie.
Yeah, that's like the Goodyear blimps.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. It is. Hey, Bob Klein, thanks for being here. Carla, Ed Sawicki, Lee Dixon, Billy Sutherland. I got to introduce you to Billy Sutherland, by the way. White Knuckle Weekend. You got to meet these guys. They're a great band. Okay. I've told him he needs to come down on a Thursday one night, get up there and preform. Wayne Davis, Steve Stein, Daniel Bryant. Wow. And I will say, as we're talking about this, we're going to get into another topic as well on this same thing about cancellations, but I want to talk about weather. Weather is out of everybody's control. I mean, you cannot control it. Yeah. You made the decision, you rolled the dice that night, and as they say in the bar business, you win some, you lose some, but you were consistently open. And I think that says a lot. You
got to spend money to make money. And in my opinion, I didn't think it was bad enough to cancel personally. If I was willing to make the drive, I didn't drive like Mark drove. They came to pick me up, drove. Other people, there were still people there. There was actually there was a point where every table was full and people were on the dance floor. You know what I mean? So people still went out. I know Daisy, my baby girl.
Daisy.
I just know that for me personally, I'm a music venue. I despise canceling music. And I was even looking for a substitution band. I asked Danny Fraser. I was like, okay, well, Dawn for Second Wind. I said, if you guys cancel, you got to let me know. Because I was looking. But I'm not canceling. Unless it's super bad, which it was super bad that Sunday, and we had to cancel that incredible event,
So let me ask you this. This was a week of, I was being a Facebook voyeur all over the place, watching people comment on being canceled that night because of weather. And it was interesting to see the variety of comments, like some people saying, oh, we got canceled. They didn't offer us a dime. Some people saying, the venue offered to split it with us and to do, that's pretty generous, honestly, for a washout. For them to say, oh, we'll pay you half of what we were going to do. You don't have to show up.
That's overly generous for a weather closing.
Yes.
That weather
it's not like you canceled them, the weather canceled them.
I think that's overly generous and really good of them. But could you, it was a snowstorm, everything, it was, on that Sunday, could you, I don't know, when the majority is canceling, probably unnecessary to have to compensate the band, you know what I mean, for weather issues.
Well, I think if people would look at it like this and say, okay, venue's taken a huge loss.
Huge loss, yeah.
Band's taking a huge loss too. We're out, but it also seems convenient for some bands to cancel when it starts to get crappy outside, and then all of a sudden they're bitching about it on the book face. And it's like, now the real story, because I talked to some venue owners who say, oh, they called and they said, well, we really don't know if we can get our bass player there. He comes from way out and this and that. Maybe we should just cancel and let the owner say, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then get on and start talking about being canceled.
That's the thing.
You know?
And then I'm going to say this, and I won't mention the name, but there's this one band that annoys the living out of me that consistently comments, and they're very like in your face, and they're like, well, everybody canceled. Nothing's happening tonight. The world's closing down. Plus it's a game. Nobody's going to make any money on the game night either. So it's closed. Nothing. Okay. But there was still, it's like,
you ever watch Forrest Gump? It happens.
It happened. And like, I know like Jamie picked up a gig. I know like actually Sean Fitzpatrick, they picked up a gig. I mean, people were still having live music.
That's a night where the people that are solo artists and can play solo ought to really be like watching like vultures if you want to make a little money, because you can go into a place for half the cost of a band or less. And get booked. They'll have entertainment. I mean, if there's a bartender and 20 people there, they want something to be going on in their bar, just like you did. And you spent, Second Wind, they're not cheap. That's a lot of moving parts.
Well, I lost money that night, but it's okay. It happens, There
are other nights where Second Wind makes you a lot of money.
Oh no, this wasn't Second Wind's fault by any means.
No, but that's what I'm saying is, No, if it had been a beautiful night out and all that, there have been all kinds of people there watching them.
Well, not even, but I would never force anybody to drive in weather, inclement weather. I said, I asked the bartenders, I was like, who wants to work? They're like, no, we want to work. Okay. Dawn. Yeah. I said, I'm not going to cancel. I want live music. I don't want you to cancel, but if you guys do not feel safe, just let me know, because then I'm going to book somebody else.
And they all made it, right?
They did. I don't think they were happy about it, but yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's up to the band and the band leader and who.
I don't blame them. I apologize. I said, so sorry, guys. I love them. Oh, I got to Venmo them.
So cancellations, it's becoming we're seeing a lot of it online, people really bitching about being canceled. And one thing that I want to get into today too is this time of year, because of football, you get all these variables that happen. And it's kind of like the Bengals, if they make it to the Super Bowl, and unfortunately they didn't this year, but if the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, things change in the bar business. It seems to me like there's so many bars out there that do live music that are trying to be sports bars as well.
Well, I was just going to say
that's interesting.
That there's a lot of bars that are trying to be live music venues. So here's the thing, like Johnny Fink made a post where he said, you're not a live music venue if you're canceling for a sporting event or something on the lines of that, which I agree with. But I think there are very few actual music venues. I think there's a lot of bars that happen to have live music, and that's the difference. Now, if a venue is canceling a band because a sporting game is on, like a game is on, I would really hope that they're compensating this band, because that's shitty, in my opinion.
I understand.
Personally,
I do.
I think that they should be like, guys, listen, can I give you some money, but I got to cancel.
Is anybody out there today? Make comments. We want to hear what your thoughts are on these cancellations. Let's talk about game cancellations. We know the weather's going to always screw up our world, but let's talk about game cancellations and when they cancel a band that's been booked for 6 months because this championship game came up on this specific date, or it's our local team playing in it or whatever. Seems to be the trend there when that happens. And I don't know. I've mixed emotions about it. I think sometimes venues are trying to be too many things. And they think, okay, if I don't put the game on, then we're not going to have the same amount of people because they're all going to go somewhere they can watch the game. If I do have a band and put the game on, it's so freaking distractive. I mean, it's almost like
it is
background music.
It is 100%. And I agree with that. I think it's a catch-22. But there's other options. You can change the time of the game, of the band. I think Trios did this last week. Or I don't remember what band what venue was. It might have been Trios, where they scheduled their band to come in early because there was a game on. I just think it is utterly unfair to book this. To book the band and then the day before, because there's a game, to cancel that band, giving them absolutely zero notice to try to find a gig. That's money. That's their money, you know? So I think if you're going to do that, I really hope you're compensating them at somewhat. And I understand it's this thing, because then there's the whole, well, it's completely disrespectful to have the game on and a band. It's disrespectful to the band. That's all like the real music goers that say that. But in some bars, not music venues, but in bars that happen to have live music, the band is background noise. It's not the main show. That's why they have 1 million TVs. So your expectations of what you think that bar should and should not do because you are a true music lover is irrelevant. Is that bar a bar that happens to have live music, or is it a live music venue that has some TVs?
Yeah, and what you said, though, they should compensate. That would end most of the Facebook bitching, as I say, but face bitching. So. But I don't know. I mean, that's where we get back into contracts and things. And I'm not a big proponent of contracts on the local scene, but some bands are, I know. And, it ends up making people a little leery sometimes to book them, because you never know what Mother Nature's going to do, or what the football game is going to do, or this or that. I mean, if you look back at all the historical things that have happened in the world, I mean, anything can change your night there. It could flood, it could tornado, it can do a lot of things. And it can change what you do in the bar business and how you make money. And it's all relative to what's the owner want to do, because they're the ultimate person that has to be able to pay the bills. And some people don't have the luxury of saying, oh, okay, I can lose a little money tonight. Some bars are living on the edge, and you know that, and I know that.
Dude, I'm living on the edge right now. I mean, I think most bars are like I'm not living on the edge, but like, it's tough out there for bars. It really is. But I think I watch, and I'm not living on the edge. I don't want to say that, because I know that there's bars that are quite literally, like, I've just seen so many restaurants and bars close down lately. So I don't want to take away from that, because it's really devastating. But
can't pay the liquor order. I mean, when it comes in, yeah.
And I understand. I'm not there by any means, but I mean, our numbers are down. Our numbers are down because the weather says things. Shit is just, Chad, I was thinking about you today, Chad, because people just aren't going out as much. They're not drinking. They're not there. Things are different. Things are just different lately, whatever the reasons are. But I think sometimes, okay, so when COVID happened, I had 76 cents in my account when we closed down, and I was only a year and a half in. And because the accountant that I had, who also ended up screwing me over, that I've been paying out of my butt to cover all of because he passed away a year ago. And then I started receiving all these notices that I owed all this money, it was because he had taken it all. But my point is, my account took all that money. I had 76 cents in my account. I was like, there's no way I'm going to how am I going to do this, make this work? And I said, go big or go home. I'm going to have to spend the fucking money. You know, I borrowed a couple $1,000s to help me get through because I fought with the city to get live music back. And as soon as they did, I went from having live music once a week to 5 times a week. I just think people, when we get scared, we retract and we take back, where sometimes the answer is to just go for it. And I know it's scary, but in my opinion, I don't close Friday. I didn't close Friday because, yeah, I knew I was going to lose money. But in the long run, it will benefit. I'm setting a precedent, and in the long run, it's going to benefit me. I just think we need to, and I know that some people just don't have that option because they really are. It's the edge, but I think you got to sometimes just go for it.
It is. It's a gamble. I mean, it's like gambling. I mean, you're throwing money at it, and you may get a return on your investment. You may not that night, and it's what it is. But I think consistency says a lot. And you said that earlier. I think that's a big word in the venue business that some people lose track of, because you can't. It's like if you want to have, as you've done, if you want to have Singo, okay, you got to do it for several weeks before you really make the call. Not just have your first night and only 3 teams show up, so you're done. Because so many people do that. You got to give it time.
And I give it a year. Like I gave Singo a year. I probably didn't need to give it that long, but I gave it a year. It just never picked up. Now I'm doing trivia. But you have to try, because what if it does work? Look at the Thursday jam session.
Exactly.
We started that in the middle of COVID. Look at that. That is an example of consistency and putting in and just doing it, going for it. Give me 1 second because Miss Daisy may need something.
All right, I'll hit some comments here. Shane, thank you for that. That's real creative. I like that. By the way, Jason Smith said, played a bar in Cincy and over the Rhine section when the Bengals were playing the Steelers last game of the year. So we played where people were watching the game. Once it was over, everyone left. Kind of stunk. Yeah, it does, because, well, first of all, the big thing too that happens, I think, and so often we move the bands a little bit. They'll say, oh, the band's going to play after the game, or they're going to play before the game. The ones that play after the game, you are at the mercy of the score. And if all the fans are there for the Bengals and they lose, you're not going to have anybody that night. You're going to have 5 or 6 people drowning their sorrows, and the rest of the people are going home dejected because they lost. And that has a big factor. The psyche of the whole thing, I think, does. And Kareem's got a good one. Hi, Dell. Yeah. Playing a winning party, came in to celebrate, didn't want to do, wanted the jukebox, so they asked us to end early. Hey, whatever.
I mean, and I said to Second Win, like, they played the full first set, and then when at their break, I said, listen, you guys can leave early. I'm going to pay you the full price. But if you want to cut out early, because the roads are bad, I don't mind. I said, when the people leave, you can leave, don't feel pressured to stay. But I know that the people who were there were very appreciative that there was a band there. Very appreciative. I
want to throw a question out, because we're getting a lot of comments on this. I want to throw a question out to the people watching today. Somebody define a sports bar for me today. I could tell you what it was before COVID, but what's a sports bar? I'd like to know.
Thank you, Kevin Cooper.
I would love to know. And yeah, it can be frustrating. The whole thing can be frustrating. The weather especially is frustrating. And the other side of that is the Armageddon weather forecasters who say you're all going to die if you go out, on TV. Right. That's the part that gets me. Half of America owns a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You can get a lot of places.
You can get a lot
if you drive smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's asking you to go out and get hammered and drive in the snow. They're just saying, hey, come have a good time, listen to music, buy a drink or two, and go home. Mm-hmm. It'll help. What's Evelyn got to say here?
I think I know for us, there'll be applause for games going on, but people know if they're coming to the Bell and the Bear, they're coming to the Bell and the Bear to watch the band. And there will be a game on, but I don't have any TVs in the same direction as the band. Those are completely different sides, But
Anthony, I agree.
I just think, but the bar business is tough, and I just think the problem is that
go back to that.
expecting a bar that happens to have live music, like your expectations cannot determine what you think that bar should and should not do. Like they're going to do what they're not a live music venue if they're canceling for a game. That's just my personal opinion. I'm going to stick to it. They're a bar that has live music, and I think there's a difference, and you need to know that. But I do think that it's very disrespectful to not offer compensation to the band that you're canceling due to a game, like the night before. You know what I mean? Michelle Robinson,
she rocks the house.
Came in on frickin' Saturday and said, "Listen, bitches, this is my house," and she frickin' burned it down. That's what she did.
She's great. I love Michelle Robinson.
Great. And she gets better and better each time. I mean, she just glows. What a joy.
Someday I'm going to drive her tour bus. I am. I'll be the little guy in the hat driving the tour bus while she sleeps, going to the next gig. Sports bar. Here's Kevin. Kevin Cooper always has the best definitions. That's why I kind of threw that out there. Established where if a band playing during a game, the applause is more likely for the TV and not the band. Hell yes, Kevin.
Agreed, Gina. That's funny. I like
that. I saw a band one night playing though, and there was people cheering for the game, and every time they would, they'd say, "Oh, thank you so much. We realize we're really better than we thought we were," because the crowd was hilarious. And they were just playing it up because they knew the crowd was just into watching the game, and it could have been touch tunes for all the crowd cared that night.
Right.
Wings, beer, and TV is what Carla says. And yeah, guess putting on us ever. Well, life's full of disappointment, isn't it, Mr. Kareem? It is at times. But like Ceris, she was disappointed about COVID, and look what she did. She rose from the ashes, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, I've always said you saved my business. I know that because I came to the Jam for the first time during COVID, and I was like, this is cool. This is great.
I say, I mean, I just was like, I just remember that time so vividly. I was a smoker. I was trying to quit for like a year, and I was a smoker, and they shut us down. And I was like, it was my dream to open this bar. You know, I've just been in like a year, just over a year. I still had my initial loans, and they closed us on a Sunday night, and from Sunday until Friday, I just sat there like smoking like a pack a day, feeling sorry for myself. Then I finally on Friday took all my cigarettes, threw them out, I quit. I never had another one. And I got on the phone tried to call. I was literally on the phone and on hold for probably 3 weeks trying to get hold of the SBA, trying to get, some money for me to try to maintain my business. I remember I had to fill out like 7 different applications. It was just insane. But I just remembered I felt sorry for myself for like 4 or 5 days. And I said, no, fuck it. That's it. I'm not closing my freaking bar down. This isn't happening. I'm going to do exactly what this bar is supposed to be. And I'm not trying to say anything by any means, but it was just like, that's it. Let's just go for it. Let's just have some fun. And it was fun.
I love what Bob Klein said here. What? Conversations should have happened much earlier. People, if you look at schedules, you look at schedules and you know when these things are going to happen. I mean, you may not know that like in, January or whatever of the year before when you're booking. These people that book a year out, that can be a problem, but you got to watch it as it gets closer, and you got to make some adjustments and call an audible once in a while, to use a football term, and say, yeah, maybe we ought to, or maybe tonight it's background music and people want sports or whatever. You're a music venue. You're different. I get that, Ceris. Yeah. I mean, you are, but so many bars trying to be so many things. And I hate to see a poor guy playing by himself, pouring his heart into songs up on the stage and all those things, and have a big ass TV going behind him and everybody cheering for the game, and they could give a crap about the musician. And that just breaks my heart sometimes to see it happen in these places.
I don't like that either. But again, if you're choosing to play, we all have choices. And if you choose to play in a sports bar or in a bar that has a TV behind you,
why did all the sports, or I shouldn't say all of them, but why did a majority of the sports bars add live music?
Because In my opinion, it brings people in, right?
They never did it before COVID. I can tell you, very rarely was there any so-called sports bars that I can
people are
remember.
trying to survive, and they're doing whatever they.
I think so too.
They're doing whatever they can, and I respect that, and I love that. I think, unfortunately, you can't just put a bow on something. You know, there's got to be there's more to it than that. But I respect any entrepreneur for frickin' doing whatever they think they need to make it work. The bar business is not easy. It is not easy. It is not for the weak.
No.
It is not. It's
Kevin Cooper. We're going on tour, man. We're taking this on the road. We should go do seminars on relationships in the bar business. That's what we should do, because so many people need to hear it. They really do.
They do. Yeah, Chad, I see both sides too. I just think that, and I'm happy you're here, Chad, but I just don't think it's respectful to cancel due to a sporting event the day before without offering some compensation.
Michelle just hired me to drive the bus. My life is complete now. It is. Carla said new gig.
You know, when the Bengals were in the playoffs, what was that, 3 years ago or something like that? Whenever like they were playing on this, like yes, it brought more people in on a Sunday, but I mean, we lost money on the Saturday nights before their games because everybody was just saving up for the Sunday games. You know?
Yeah, and what you said earlier about people just aren't going out as much, so they're picking and saying, "Okay, I'm going to go out one night this week.
Yeah,
what am I going to pick?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding that more and more. And, you know, I talked on Monday's show about, I went to see Jesse Johnson at the casino, and I was talking to Kenny Patterson, who was running sound, and we were just chatting about how pre-COVID, that casino, if you did a show there, it was crazy busy. The dance floor was packed and all this. And it's just like, ho-hum. You know, I mean, now there's a few people looking at the musicians and just nothing. It's like it's just a whole different mentality. It's weird.
There was a casino, I think, that stopped having live music just this last. I mean, it's happening more and more. The cost of live music is expensive. They have plenty
of money. The casinos have plenty.
No, I understand that, but yeah. I mean, well, let's look at what's the casino downtown Cincinnati? It's changed names about 17 times.
I think Hard Rock now or something. Yeah, okay. Hard Rock.
I mean, I just think in general it's tough right now, but I just think there's a respectful way to do things.
Yeah. So you decided to be a music venue. We got just a couple minutes left here, but you decided to be a music venue. And that's what you love, and that's what you want to do. What if some of these places decided just to be a sports bar? Do you think they would survive it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, have they?
Is there enough sports interest for that
in Cincinnati?
When your team's playing, yes, but I mean, is are you going to have Monday Night Football packed when it's the Miami Dolphins playing the Cowboys or so? I mean, are you going to have a packed house that night? I don't know. It's really weird.
It is weird, but I mean, I think it's a give and take, because I'm a music venue, but I don't have a packed house on Monday or Tuesdays. You know what I mean? Like, even when we show the game, I mean, I think right now, I mean, we're still pretty busy. Again, I'm not complaining. We're still busy considering how things are, but that's not the case for a lot of places. So I don't know.
Megan, you are so spot on with that comment. Those days are over. I don't care what people think. 10 to 2, you get 10 to midnight. It's what you get. And the other 2 hours are playing to an empty room in most places. Yeah, unless it's a college area or something,
I always say to our bands, I want music to go to at least midnight. Just because there's like midnight's the number. Nobody's staying out till 2 a.m, especially not my crowd. My crowd is older. they're not staying out till 2 a.m. You know what I mean? But it's till midnight.
There's a good one from Bob Klein. Thank you, Bob. That does make sense.
Yeah, but they probably did their research and looked at their books and looked at their bottom line and been like, is live music really benefiting our bottom line? I mean, is it? I know that in my venue, it is my bottom, like live music is what keeps my business alive. But what's a sports bar that happens to have live music?
Well, I mean, by me, there's a lot of them.
Do you think that band's really like an actual sports bar that cancels bands for a sporting event? Do you think that would you say that having live music really benefits their bottom line?
Well, I don't know. It does for like Mr. Burroughs. I know the live music brings people on the weekends.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But she is technically, if you want to call it that, with all the TVs and everything they do, probably sports oriented. And but she got lucky. She had a band cancel on her for the night of the big game that she probably would have tried to talk a band out of playing that night in there. So she got lucky that night. But it's hard to be a lot of things. We're saying it. I mean, it's hard to be a lot of things. And Steve Wick said putters, maybe. Yeah, there's a place up by me. It's a Mexican joint at Elsa's. It's a chain of Mexican places around us, and they have live music now. I mean, and I would have never thought that they would have solo artists or whatever playing.
MVP isn't in my opinion a big sports bar. In my opinion, MVP's, you walk in and the first thing you see is a massive stage with music memorabilia and all of that. To me, that's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a sports bar. They are a music and they cater to both. Right. I'm talking about an actual just sports bar. No sports bar has a stage like MVP's or a booking agent or anything like that.
But look at their name. It's MVP, Most Valuable Players Sports Bar and Grill. It is. I mean, that's
their name.
That's their brand.
But that's not, in my opinion. I think MVP caters to both, or they wouldn't have such a big stage. You know what I mean? I understand their name says that, but.
And Coop, I will say there's a lot of bars that took it in the shorts on Friday night because of the weather. Even the ones that were just sports oriented, having the OSU game on, because people just decided to stay home. They did. I went to Kroger's that day. You didn't want to get near Kroger's. It was so crazy because everybody's buying chicken wings and crap.
That's what I'm talking about. A sports bar is a place that doesn't actually have a stage, in my opinion. They have TVs. You know what I mean?
Between the men's restroom and the Keno machine on the floor under 4 TVs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. They 100% cater to music. Like they have a green room. They have, that massive stage, sound tech, everything. That's not the kind of sports bar I'm talking about.
Well, speaking of that, my phone just popped up and said snow will begin in around 3 minutes here where I live. Isn't that special? I'm off to do trivia.
Well, you have fun with that.
I will.
We have trivia tonight at our bar too.
It's my second night at the Fraternal Order of the Moose.
How's that going?
First night was great. Hopefully tonight will be. Weather sucks, and again, you're not going to get the draw. I mean, I know I'm not going to have a huge crowd because who wants to come out in subarctic temperatures? I mean, they'll stay home under a blanket watching reruns of the Golden Girls. Or something,
when you came on that Tuesday, even though the weather was still shit. Like a lot of people still were not leaving their houses, but you still had people coming from, your Heather's crew and all of that come down. There's people that still want to get out and do things.
Yeah. And it really wasn't bad that night. The worst part was not even where your bar is, but coming into your parking lot up there by the car dealership and all that. That was the worst part of the whole trip.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody was dragging the snow off the curb and bringing it out in there. It was nasty. But other than that, I mean, it was a good time and we had good people. And you got Bill Marks's trivia tonight, back as entertainment there.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bill, for being here. And Southwest Ohio Weather Freak is giving us an update right now as we speak. Okay. Additional snow and blowing and drifting on the roads, especially in flat areas. Thank you. I used to date a flat girl. She would have drifts. She would at this point. It'd be awful. Hey, thanks for all the comments today, guys. If you're watching after we're live, please drop us a comment. Let us know you tuned in. Jim Klontz, thank you for being here. Banks, Denny Cottle, thank you. Dewey checked in. Stephanie Sutherland has checked in. That's Billy's better half. Some night I'm going to drag him down on a Thursday to the jam night and get him up there and let him perform a little bit. And Karis, what else you got going this week?
Hey, Deb Milton Company. Thanks for joining us today. I just booked them for a date in September. But what do I got? Trivia tonight with Bill Marks. Bill Marks' trivia, which is we're gonna do this. Tomorrow we've got the Gene and Johnny Band with special guest Tom Parsons from Under the Sun. That's gearing up to be an epic night. Thursday is our jam session. On Friday, we have, I'm drawing a blank. Who do we have on Friday? Somebody help me. My brain just farted because I just saw a really weird text. Somebody help me. I'm old.
I got you.
Oh, sorry. That's right. We have Jeff Vance's band, Velvet Sheen, which I hope everybody comes out and supports him. I'm super excited about that. And Saturday we have 1330.
Rocking the house.
Sunday we have our 7th annual chili cook-off.
Sounds like a week of fun at the Bell.
Yeah. Velvet Sheen. It is.
Velvet Sheen in the house with Jeff Vance killing it as he always does. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for your input today. Let's hope we don't have any more of this weather, but I think we're going to get a few more rounds of it the way it sounds, and maybe over the weekend again the way it sounds. So hopefully people are learning to drive in it and they're not as prone to stay home.
I do think people kind of get sick of it over time, and then they just start going out. They're like, we can handle this, you know?
Yes. Bank says chili. Hell yes. Okay. Hey, Karis, has been a pleasure having you with me today again, as you always are. You're the hostess with the mostest here.
You're the hostess
always.
With the mostest.
And we'll be back tomorrow. I have
who you got?
Tim Anderson on the show tomorrow.
At
noon. Shh. Give it away yet. But big announcements tomorrow.
It's okay. Everybody tune in tomorrow because this is great. Yes. This could not have been any better of a transition. So I'm excited.
It's going to be fun. And he's going to be with me tomorrow at noon. And then Thursday, Who's Playing Out, brought to you by our friends at Heather's. It was nice. Heather popped on and said something on our post about the Name That Tune at Your Place, that she saw all the pictures of her trivia troopers, as she calls them. They come out rain, sleet, snow, hail, ice, anything they'll play.
She's the sweetest pie. Yes. I like her.
She is wonderful. Wonderful. Did you say sweet as pie?
Yeah.
That's round 2 tonight in my trivia. How did you that? We have ESPN.
Oh, we are ESPN.
I have 3 general knowledge rounds, and I have 1 round of specialty trivia tonight, and it is all about pie.
Oh, well, dedicated to Heather.
I will. She's sweet as pie. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to get out of here. See y'all next time here on Cold Topic Tuesday, as it was today. Somebody said earlier. Bye, Karis.
Bye, Scott. Bye, everybody.
Where's Daisy? Have a wonderful evening. Daisy's outside. Okay. All right.
Working for the weekend.